started on a grey Monday morning in early February, deep in the London Underground. I'd been working as a metro cleaner for transport for London for about 8 months, assigned to the Jubilee line between Canning Town and North Greenwich. I'm 31, originally from Manchester. I took the job because it paid the bills, and I preferred working nights when the stations were empty and quiet. My shift ran from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., sweeping platforms, emptying bins, clearing debris from the tracks before the first trains rolled at 5:30. The first time I saw the shoe, I almost didn't notice it. I was walking the tracks at North Greenwich Station, my torch cutting through the pitch black, when the beam caught something shiny on the rail. I bent down and picked it up. A woman's stiletto heel, black leather, expensive looking, with a thin layer of dust and grime on the sole. I figured some drunk girl had lost it stumbling onto the last train Saturday night. I tossed it in my bin bag and forgot about it. The next Monday, I found another one. Same station, same spot, about halfway down the eastbound track. Another black stiletto, same style, same dusty sole. I stood there for a minute, shining my torch up and down the tunnel, half expecting to see a woman hopping on one foot looking for her missing shoe. The tunnel was empty, just the dark, the damp smell, and the distant hum of ventilation fans. I shrugged it off. Coincidence. Maybe a lost shipment from a nearby shop. I bagged it and moved on. By the third Monday, I couldn't rationalize it anymore. February 17th, 3:15 a.m., North Greenwich Station. I walked the tracks, and there it was, a single black stiletto heel, lying perfectly upright on the rail, like someone had placed it there deliberately. I picked it up and turned it over in my gloved hand. It was identical to the others. Same style, same size, same layer of dust. I looked up at the platform edge, and for a split second, I thought I saw something, a shadow, a shape, but when I focused, there was nothing. I told my supervisor about it that morning, a tired man in his 60s named Clive. He'd been doing this job for 30 years. He just laughed and said, "Probably some bird with a fetish, chucking her shoes on the track for a laugh. Don't worry about it, love." I tried to let it go, but the next Monday, I found number 4, and the Monday after that, number 5, always the same, North Greenwich, eastbound track, 3:15 a.m., a single black stiletto heel. I started arriving early, sitting in the staff room with a coffee, watching the clock. The 3:10, I'd walk down to the platform and wait. I'd stand at the edge, staring into the darkness of the tunnel, listening for footsteps, for anything, nothing, just the silence and the faint drip of water somewhere in the distance. Then, at exactly 3:15, I'd climb down onto the tracks and find the shoe waiting for me. I started documenting them, took photos with my phone, logged the dates, kept the shoes in a bag in my locker. There were 7 by the end of March, 7 identical stilettos, all black, all the same size, all appearing out of nowhere in the dead of night. I asked around, talked to the station attendants, the security guards, the other cleaners. No one had seen anything. No one had noticed anyone acting strangely. One of the security guards, a guy named Marcus, told me to stop poking my nose where it didn't belong. He said it with a strange look in his eyes, like he knew something he wasn't telling me. I brushed it off as him being grumpy. April 7th was the 8th Monday. I decided that morning I was going to figure it out. I brought a better torch, one of those high-powered ones that could light up the entire tunnel. I came in early and hid in the maintenance closet near the platform, leaving the door cracked just enough to see. 3:10. I watched the empty platform. 3:12. Nothing. 3:14. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure anyone nearby could hear it. Then, at 3:15 exactly, I heard it, a soft click, the sound of a heel hitting the concrete platform above me. I burst out of the closet and ran to the edge. There, standing perfectly still at the very spot where I always found the shoes, was a woman. She was tall, dressed in a black dress that looked too thin for the cold underground air. Her hair was dark, pulled back tight, and her face was expressionless. Like a mannequin, she was staring down at the tracks, at the spot where I knew the shoe would be. She wasn't wearing any shoes. Her feet were bare against the cold concrete. I opened my mouth to speak, but before I could, she turned her head and looked directly at me. Her eyes were dark, empty, and for a moment, I felt like I was looking at someone who wasn't really there, like a photograph come to life. She took a step toward the edge, toward me, and I stumbled backward, my torch clattering to the ground. When I looked up again, she was gone. The platform was empty. I forced myself to look down at the tracks. The shoe was there, lying on the rail, gleaming in the dim light. I didn't go down to get it. I ran to the staff room and locked the door. Sat there until Clive found me at 5 a.m., shaking and pale. I told him everything. He listened quietly, then told me to go home and take a few days off. Said I was working too hard, that the night shifts can play tricks on your mind. I wanted to believe him, wanted it to be stress, exhaustion, a hallucination brought on by too much coffee and not enough sleep. But I couldn't shake the image of her face, that empty, frozen expression, the way she'd looked at me like she was seeing something I couldn't. I took a week off. I stayed in my flat in Stratford, sleeping during the day, watching TV at night, trying to forget. But by the next Monday, I had to go back. I had to know. I came in at midnight, told Clive I was fine, went about my shift. I avoided North Greenwich until 3 a.m. Then I walked to the platform, my torch in my hand, my heart in my throat. She was there again. Same spot, same dress, same bare feet. This time, she wasn't looking at the tracks. She was looking at me. I stopped at the edge of the platform, maybe 20 feet away from her. The air felt cold, colder than it should have been. I could see my breath. "Who are you?" I called out, my voice echoing in the empty station. She didn't answer. She just stared. I took a step closer. She didn't move. Another step. Still nothing. I was close enough now to see details. The dark circles under her eyes. The way her dress hung loosely on her frame, like she'd lost weight. The small scar above her left eyebrow. She was real. She was flesh and blood. But she wasn't moving, wasn't blinking. I reached out a hand, trembling, toward her arm. The moment my fingers touched her skin, she flinched like I'd burned her. Her eyes widened, and for the first time, there was something in them. Fear, panic. She opened her mouth, and a sound came out. A raspy, broken whisper. "Can you see me?" Before I could answer, the lights on the platform flickered. The hum of the ventilation fans changed pitch, growing louder, then softer. The woman looked past me, down the tunnel, and her face contorted into an expression of pure terror. She shook her head, backing away from me, backing toward the edge of the platform. "No," she whispered. "No, not again. Please, not again." I grabbed for her, trying to pull her back from the edge, but my hands closed on empty air. She was gone, just gone. I stood there, swaying, staring at the empty space where she'd been. Then I heard it. Footsteps, coming from the tunnel. Slow, deliberate, echoing off the tiled walls. Someone was walking up the tracks from the darkness. I didn't wait to see who it was. I ran. I ran through the station, up the escalators, out onto the street, and I kept running until I found a late-night cab willing to take me home. I quit the next day. I told Clive I couldn't do it anymore. He didn't ask questions, just nodded and signed my paperwork. I haven't been back on the tube since. I take the bus everywhere now, even if it takes twice as long. The police didn't believe me when I finally worked up the courage to report it. I went to the British Transport Police 3 weeks later. After I'd had time to process what I'd seen, I told them about the woman, about the shoes, about the footsteps in the tunnel. They took my statement politely, asked if I'd been under any stress, told me they'd look into it. I never heard back. I did my own research, spent hours online, scrolling through missing persons reports, old news articles, anything that might give me a name. I found a story from 5 years ago about a woman who disappeared from North Greenwich station. Her name was Sarah Caldwell, 29 years old, last seen on a Monday night in April, waiting for the last train. She was wearing a black dress and black stiletto heels. She never made it home. The case went cold. They never found her. I don't know if the woman I saw was Sarah. I don't know if she's still down there, stuck in some loop, appearing every Monday at 3:15 a.m., dropping a shoe she'll never wear again. I don't know who was walking up the tracks that night or what they wanted, and I don't know why, out of all the people who passed through that station every day, she chose me to see her. But sometimes, late at night, when my flat is quiet and I'm trying to fall asleep, I think about what she said. "Can you see me?" Not "who are you?" or "help me." Just that, like she'd been invisible for so long. She'd forgotten what it felt like to be noticed. And the question that terrifies me most, the one that keeps me awake until the sun comes up, if she finally found someone who could see her, why did she look so afraid when the footsteps started coming from the tunnel?